This is the lecture hall where the Scole Debate is going to take place. We're here just before we're going to begin. The lecture actually is a sellout, and we're just waiting for the final people to arrive, and then the debate will begin.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the SPR Study Day number 37, the debate about Scole. Now, there are one or two things I want to say in opening. This study day is dedicated to discussing the authenticity of the phenomena that's said to have manifested at Scole. And the authors are going to put forward reasons why we should regard the physical phenomena as paranormal and the mental mediumship as genuine. And by genuine, I mean that the communications came from the subconscious minds of the mediums, whether or not that material was put into their minds from external sources, but that it did not come from their conscious minds. If the material is felt to be so obscure as to make the possibility very far-fetched that the mediums could have known all the material by having heard it, or having been told things, or having looked for things, then of course this is an indication of paranormality. And if it's not felt to be that obscure, then of course there's a counter-indication. Well, as we all know, defendants are regarded in law as innocent until they're proved guilty. So by an equally cardinal law, events are to be regarded as normal until they're proved beyond reasonable doubt to be paranormal. Reasonable doubt does mean reasonable, it doesn't mean intransigent. But the burden of proof is always on those asserting paranormality. Paranormality being, in a sense, a crime against normality. Failure to prove the case doesn't mean necessarily that the event was normal. It just means that you can't be satisfied that it was paranormal. But more often, the opposite of authentic is expressed not as normal, but as fake or hoax or fraud. I want to say something about fraud. It's a word used very freely by psychical researchers. But as physical phenomena are seldom on offer in our days, it's mostly used about people who are long since dead and who are in no position to complain. But here we're talking about people who are alive and maybe sitting in the room with us. And so I want to make sure that we're not misunderstood. Of course, there is such a thing as fraudulent mediumship, when mediums undertake to put people in touch with their nearest and dearest and then go out and find all about them and feed them information back. That might well be described as fraudulent. But hoaxing psychical researchers is rather different. SPR investigators might be regarded as fair game, and there's no law against hoaxing as such. Some people might even justify it as a way of priming the pump, raising people's expectations so that something genuinely paranormal really happens. This way you can end up with a mixture of hoax and genuine, instead of ending up with just nothing. So even if in the course of today's proceedings people slip into using the word fraud and fraudulent, they will mean, I hope, that they think certain phenomena could have been affected by normal rather than paranormal means, not that it must have been or that it was. If phenomena were to occur that could not be produced by normal means, then those phenomena would prove themselves. But of course, the phenomena at Scole, like all known phenomena, can be simulated. Debate will therefore centre on whether the controls were stringent enough to prevent simulation. These are questions that have to be examined, and we have a duty as psychical researchers to examine them. Whatever ideas are put forward, no one should feel slighted or personally under attack. Most of the people actively involved in this debate are on amicable terms, and I hope that nothing will change that. So these necessary things having been said, we can start the day. The authors of the report will be arguing that there was in fact no hoaxing, that the physical effects were paranormal, and the written and spoken material were produced by genuine mental mediumship and could not reasonably be thought to have been consciously devised by the mediums. But before we get too controversial, Montague Keen is going to give us a brief overview of the Scole sittings, an introduction reminding us of the conditions under which they took place, course of events over the years. I understand that he's going to incorporate some material from other people who have attended the sittings. So if I can introduce Montague Keen, as well as being the principal author of the report, he's a long-standing member of the council. He's the Society's Media Relations Officer, and I'm sure that you'll gather from the report his extraordinary energy and perseverance in these matters. So please welcome Montague Keen.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. May I first of all apologise on behalf of the Society for the very short notice